I've been called to all these different power places on the earth that hold these different vibrations. And I don't know, what comes to mind is my friend Jorge Luis Delgado, who's a Peruvian shaman, says that we're weaving the golden threads of these power places back together as we kind of weave this world back together in its, disjointedness. And to me, to go to Africa, where I kind of think of it as the beginning of the weave, right? The start, the motherland, um, it's just super an honor and super excited to experience that. And so I'm called to that land, that place, the energy, and I don't even know if I have expectations, um, other than just a deep calling to be in relationship with the energy of that land, just like the relationship of Peru or Egypt or, all these different kind of centers, power centers on the earth. And so I'm super excited to play in that magic.
I think this will actually be my 8th time to South Africa. And what draws me back is the magic. And this feeling inside my body and my bones, like it is a calling home of something deep in my DNA, in my blood. I am so passionate about it. And, I wouldn't necessarily have known that. I've always been intrigued and called, to Africa, and different movies I've just been, attracted to. It ignites something deep inside of me. And many, many years ago, I'm just going to say this, many years ago, in 1979, when I was just a wee, one in my 20s, I lived in Nigeria. So I probably had my first ignition in living in that country. And it wasn't until more recently, in 2011, that I got a deep call to go to Africa. And it came to me in a breath work. And in that breath work, it was very clear that I needed to go. And I had no idea. It was the White Lions that had called me in this breath work, but I didn't know what was expected of me. And I think that calling just keeps informing me. So I go back because there's something there that continues to evolve inside of me and inside of our world as we are each remembering more and more of the bigger picture of who we are and how we are in relationship with nature and how it informs us and guides us and how we can reestablish right relationship between us and other on the planet at this critical time on the planet. And so it's in me, and I keep getting called, and I know others are called. And I would encourage them to listen to that calling because it is magical.
Well, I think like for so many people, maybe our very first introduction of Africa was the movie Out of Africa. And I was enchanted. I've been called since I was a little girl to experience, and even watching the movie back then, I feel like I could experience the magic, the majesty, the connection with this motherland, the land before time where we all came from. I just, it's an absolute dream come true to be able to go and to be in relationship with this land. And of course, my journey as a spirit, medicine woman and teacher, my very first beginning, John and Carly were my teachers. They were my guardians and guides. And so to be able to go with them, this being their medicine, their passion, their connection to the land is just, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And I say, I feel like it's going to be a safari of the soul.
I think it was the first time we went, and we were in a night safari. We go out in the evening and look for lions and whatever else might be out there. And things are going kind of slow. I mean, sitting in the back of an open vehicle in the dark in Africa is all by itself worth the trip, even if you don't see anything but the moths in the headlights. Okay. I mean, it's amazing. The soil in Africa speaks to the DNA in my body. So anyway, we're getting ready to leave, and the driver turned the key and started the engine, and a lion stepped out of the darkness and into the headlights. We had no idea he was there. He looked like he was as big as a horse. And he just stepped into the headlights because they've become accustomed to these safari vehicles. They've learned that they aren't a danger. They don't see us as a source of food. And so he casually walked into the headlights without worrying about the fact that we were there. And it was stunning. It was so powerful. And then his brother came out into the headlights. And then one of them laid down in front of our vehicle, and the other one laid down behind our vehicle. And the driver said, "Well, we're here till they move," and that was fine. That's one of my favorites.
It is an awakening experience in our bodies. And I'm thinking particularly for that first week when we will be at Kruger National Park, staying at these echo spiritual lodges that are right there on the land. One of them is actually on the water, will be in the Limpopo River, connecting with the water. So the animals will be coming to these watering holes, so there will be, elephants drinking, or rhinoceroses, or I'm not sure about rhinoceroses right there, but they're a rare occurrence, but we have seen them. If spirit, this is another piece of it, because we are in a relationship. So who shows up for us is the exact right animal or insect or experience that is going to inform us. So like Jeremy was saying, this is not a regular, not what we think of, like we're going to go on safari. We're going on a deep psycho-spiritual pilgrimage. It really is. That's why we call it a pilgrimage. It's going to be a pilgrimage that connects us with this experience and these animals who will be informing us, no matter what we are going through, because we will be in process as well. And one experience comes to mind for me is when the group that we had taken earlier, on an earlier excursion, really wanted to spend time with the elephants. And the first experience we had was one that was not in alignment. We had, connected with some guides who took us into the elephants, but it was in such a way that it was not in respect. So we were bombarding them and we were invading them in their space, and it was a disconnect, and we were all really affected by that. So we sat down and we talked to the guides and said, this is the kind of experience that we want, and this is the relationship that we are cultivating in our relationship with the land and with the animals. Once we did that, there was no sightings of animals. Are not animals, no sightings of elephants. So there was this really, people were discouraged. People were going through their own process of disappointment, and we had to face that disappointment. We had to speak into it. We had to process the feelings that were coming up. And then we had to go into a place of finding what was right for each of us. And when we did that, we actually split into two different groups, and some chose not to do either of these things. One went out in the Jeep to look for the elephants, and the other did ceremony and connected with the elephants energetically. What happened was magical, because in that surrender and in that understanding that we are each there to support each other and finding what's right for each of us, I can speak for what I experienced. 17 elephants came out of nowhere when we were sitting on the land doing ceremony. 17 elephants running as fast as they could in front of us, running in a line. And then as soon as they came in front of us, they stopped suddenly, because it was like, this is where we are. And as they stopped, they tumbled. because they were coming so fast, and they tumbled, and then they put themselves into formation, and they provided messages for us to interpret as they were communicating to us how important it was for us to be in right relationship with the earth. It was so incredible. There's a lot more to the story, but I just want everyone to know that this experience will inform us, and we will be in relationship with these animals and this land, because where we're going to be is on the 31st meridian, which is the longitudinal meridian that divides Earth masses completely in half. It's known as the spine of Mother Earth. And that spine aligns with our spine in our bodies, our human bodies. We are a microcosm. What we do influences the earth, and we can be in relationship with these places that carry potent energy for us to remember with this within our own bodies.
My intent or my wish or my goal for this journey for participants is that they will come on. Let me back up. This is not a safari tour of Africa. This is a pilgrimage. This is a pilgrimage where we will be in relationship with ourselves, with the land, with the animals, where you'll, as a participant, get to walk with 4 teachers that are also, co-collaborating this trip, co-journeying. Of course, always as a facilitator or teacher, we are in our own process. And so my wish or my hope for participants is that they will leave with a deeper sense of self and sovereignty and understanding of the majestic majesty of us as a creature on this planet, and have a deeper understanding of respect for all of our relations. In the Lakota, we say Ahomi Takuyasin. It means all my relations, right? And that means I respect all of creation. And to go to this place, for many of us, the origin of the origin, and to, like I was saying, with those golden threads, to begin to weave that golden thread within ourselves and to carry that home with us to our bigger communities. It's going to be magical. What a gift and opportunity to uh, experience. I mean, talk about privilege. So, yeah, I mean, that's, what I wish people will experience and walk away. Let me say what I know people will experience and walk away from this journey.
Well, he will be with us. His name is Mandaza Kandemwa. We call him Baba. It's a term of endearment, and he is the most generous, beautiful man. He's our dear friend. We've known him for years now and been on many journeys with him, and are in fairly regular contact with him. He is going to be with us as we travel through Zimbabwe, on the bus with us as we travel from the sacred site. So we will be going to Great Zimbabwe, and Baba, the Mandaza, will be with us as we connect with this sacred place. Jeremy was talking about these places that are potent and carry a big energy. Great Zimbabwe is a ruins of an ancient city that connects with the stars and the earth. And it is older than Machu Picchu. So, I mean, we're talking about a very old ancient city. And we will be working with the ancestors when we go there. And that is what Mandaza does. Mandaza is one who communicates and is in service to the ancestors, and as well as being a water nation and earth nation carrier. So his work is very much to be in relationship with the natural world, and he will be communicating with the natural world, and we will be guided not by Mandaza and not by what our intention is on this trip, but we will be guided through the experiences that we have and these sites that we visit, and those ancestors that will guide us, including the waters. So it's not just the animals and nature. It will also be water and earth guiding us. John talked about the soil. These are really important energy portals for us to connect with. And after we do Great Zimbabwe, he will be with us as we go to Victoria Falls, which is one of the largest waterfalls in the world, and it connects us to the Zambezi River, and we will be in connection with the spirit of the river here as well, communing, connecting, and bringing forth the wisdom that is being guided to us, through us, to support each of the participants, including each of us, in finding more of ourselves as we ignite within our own bodies this remembrance of our greater connection with all, with the cosmos, as well as being here on planet Earth.
There are so many experiences that have stayed with me. And it's hard to pick one. Here's one. Well, first I should let you know that I was terrified of Africa. I had a premonition as a college student that if I ever went to Africa, I would die. And of course, I wasn't thinking very clearly then and whatnot, but it really sank in, and it didn't go away after a few years or anything. It was always there. And then I met this woman, this crazy woman, and we raised a whole bunch of children. And when the children escaped, then we started doing things together, and that ended up taking me to Africa. And well, a part of me did die, actually. It was a part of me that was afraid to go out and see the world. And I grew up in Southern Illinois, and that was my world. I had no intention of going anywhere else. And Lordy, Lordy, we've been all over the place now. And we've been to Africa. I've been to Africa 4, maybe 5 times. And it has really changed my life. It has really changed my life for the better. So much better.
I just want to share that I truly believe that it is a calling, that if you're watching, if you're tuning in, you'll know it's a calling from your heart, a calling to awaken to the wonder that lives within you, that is a mirror for Africa. And I want you to know how special this journey is. We literally have been curating it, designing it, intending it, creating it for 4 years for us to be able to go to these 2 ecological lodges that are right on the edge of Kruger National Park, where we will wake up to the animal kingdom, in the sun, bathing, drinking. We'll be in communion with life. And from there, flying to ancient Zimbabwe and what a privilege, y'all, to be with Mandaza. Look him up. I mean, it's really amazing. So, I just say that if you are called, come. Don't let your mind get in the way. This will be an adventure of a lifetime that will change your life forever.
What I would say that I have taken away from my journeys to Africa is a much deeper and broader recognition of our place on the planet and in the universe. The abundance of wildlife, even now, as it's used to be going on safari meant going out and killing something, and a lot of animals got killed. And now, for the most part, going out on safari means being in the presence of the animals and feeling and seeing them in their environment, being who they are. And it isn't just the big predators. They're a lot of fun, to watch. They're exciting, they're brilliant, they're beautiful, they're incredible. And they're really less than half of the show, because the other animals, and particularly, the elephants. We were driving someplace, I forget where, going through the bush in the area where, in a reserve area where the animals were free to roam and safe. And we came upon 2 elephants who were standing and facing each other. with a small, there was a puddle of water in between them. And they were communing together. There, I can't remember much of the details. I have the image in my mind of these two elephants standing eye to eye with the water between them. It was as if they were sharing the water, as if it were a ritual. It looked like a ritual. It felt like a ritual. And there is absolutely nothing at all that makes it unlikely, let alone impossible, for these animals to have ritual. They have what we have. We can't speak their language, they can't speak ours. But when we feel called by spirit, we are not alone in that. I believe, and this is just my projection, I can't prove anything. I believe that they are with spirit pretty much all the time. And unlike us, we're pretty much, I'll speak for myself now, unlike me, I tend not to be aware of spirit until something brings it to me rather sharply. I think that they are in spirit almost all the time. And maybe if there are times when they aren't, it's when a predator is coming in at high speed and they know they got to go somewhere. I don't even know that that takes them out of spirit. I think that they are so fully and wholly and utterly what we are trying so hard to be that it never leaves them. And that's how it feels to me. And that's what I've taken away from these trips. And I think that anyone who goes there will have some sense of this when we're there among the animals, there among what we used to be and still are, if we can just remember.
There are so many, I think that the thing that comes to mind first is an incredible amount of joy that I would like the participants to take away. And I trust that being in this experience and being on this land, that they will experience joy like they have never experienced before. So what I wish for all those that are hearing that call or wondering if they're on the fence, to trust, and let your own body decide. Because if you're hearing it, come. We welcome
Dare
you.
you.
We hear you. Come.
We dare
And
you.
the earth hears you, and Africa hears you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya.